Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the I Don't Fam. You guys, I just combined the two names of my podcast, the I Don't Famous podcast. Welcome to the I Don't Get It podcast. This is Ashley.
This is Lauren.
And today, Naz is not joining us, unfortunately, because we're having some audio difficulty, and Laura and I are recording from the tub in my mom and dad's bathroom because we are at home this week, and we tried to find the place that has the least electrical cording, and here we are with a comforter in the big bathtub. We are joined today...
We are joined today
by who we like to call our cousin. It's really just a close family friend, Christina.
Hi.
Hi. So you guys may remember her from the Jade podcast. She talked about giving birth. You know how Jade was all like hippy dippy Mother Earth. And then Christina came on and she was real about the pain of childbirth. She was hysterical. We thought that we'd have a lot more material with her that you guys would enjoy. So we have her on. We're going to talk primarily about marriage and like early life, you know, like that weird stage, upper 20s, early 30s, when you're just like kind of figuring out your own family, you know? Before we get started with all that, Christina, we like to ask our guests, what is something in this world that you just don't get?
Ooh, oh God, there's so many things. I'm trying to think of something that's like good and deep, but nothing's going to come out like that.
No.
It doesn't have to be.
For example, I can start. Today, I don't get it this week is, you know, when you go to a fancy hotel or you have like the cleaning ladies over and they will fold the paper towel into a triangle. I don't get what the point of that is other than to symbolize, hello, I've been here and I cleaned your bathroom.
Oh, I love that. That's exactly what that's for. It's like, here, and have a great day.
It's like
in
a
the
little
shape of a
symbol.
fan.
Yeah.
You know what I don't get? This is what I don't get.
Okay.
I don't get the obsessive need for hashtags, especially this one. Hashtags no fucks given. No, because honestly, that drives me crazy when people will actually take time to write up a meme or to take the time to write, I don't give a fuck. Hashtag no fucks given.
When
Zero
you
fucks
obviously
to
give a fuck.
Clearly, you do care.
Yeah.
You're writing that. You might as well just address it to the person that you really want to think. Like, if there were no fucks given, you wouldn't have used a filter. If there were no fucks given, you wouldn't have posted this.
Oh,
Why are you lying?
Exactly. You would not have posted that. It's the bottom line.
Yeah, just write hashtag I'm needy and I own it. How about that?
I know. Today I was going to post a picture and just simply say, I liked this picture of me.
Yeah, just don't be like, oh, beautiful lighting or Sunday fun day. Just be like, hi, I feel pretty.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Exactly. And when, you know how girls like put inspirational quotes under their pretty Instagrams, it's like, no, all you wanted to do was
You're
post
like, my
that pretty
boobs
picture.
look good. That's it,
totally.
period.
Yeah, like you're not like running like in like a forest with like all these flowers around you, or forest would be actually, no, that wouldn't be the correct analogy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to be all deep. You didn't even make up that quote. You just look good. You're having a good hair day, and just say it. Hey guys, don't I look cute today? Sorry, had to post this. How about that?
You would get more likes if you said something like that too.
I agree.
No one actually reads the quote either. They just look at the picture.
Totally, of course.
Not the whole quote.
Also, what I wanted to address was you said before, Ashley, like that Jade did the whole hippie, like, and Christina did like the realistic birth. Jade's birth was also realistic.
They're both realistic. I meant Christina represented more, like a lot of women's experiences, and for Jade, it just seemed to be so like, whimsical.
It was whimsical, but also like she endured a lot of pain.
Oh, she did. She just is very
Did she do it
tolerant
naturally?
of pain.
Yeah, she did it naturally, and she endured a lot of pain, and she didn't want to use, any drugs, which is very commendable. But a lot of people can't do it.
It's okay.
Wow.
I can't do it. What I meant to say was that I love listening to Jade because I'm so honestly inspired by Jade. I always say that she's like the only friend of, well, she's not the only friend of mine that inspires me, but she's somebody that I can actually use that word and truly mean it. But Christina represented how I imagine myself to be while giving birth. Okay. Well, speaking of family, let's talk about youth and marriage and children and how You were 25 when you got married, and a lot of the people that listen to our podcast were about that age when they got married, and they're like, we can't relate when you talk about being single in your upper 20s, or at least not married in your upper 20s. So we thought we'd bring Christina on to talk about that and how it is, and how life is different, and like we want to learn from her.
Oh my God, life is so different.
Yeah, so you have your sister, Amanda, got married when she was pretty young too. But then your other sister, she got married when she was what, 36? 30.
No, she was like 38 or something, I think.
Damn it. That's crazy. So like, how do you think life is different in good ways and in bad ways when you get married younger versus older?
I think personally, I know for myself. Now, I didn't think this at the time because when you're 25 and you get engaged, you're like, oh my God, I'm so much cooler than all of my friends. Like, I know that for myself, I personally did think like that. I would have never said that out loud, but now as an old lady, I can say that that's totally what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. Rather than, I just happened to have met a man who was 12 years older than me who fell in love with me also. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Nothing special about me. It just so happens some people are luckier than others. Some people have cellulite and some people don't. And some people get married earlier than others. That's it. I know I had no idea what marriage was at all. To me, it was like a big party. You know what I mean? It was an excuse to have a big party. I don't think you really realize at 25 anyway, what marriage is and what a big deal it is until you're actually in it. Once you have kids and once you're like, you're locked in, you're like, oh, this wasn't just about like picking favors and like what colors I would do and flowers. It's about, starting a life. And, I think at 25, you don't really know yourself. Like for myself, it worked out, but I think there's a big difference if you're getting married a little bit older. You've dated more people. My husband was my first real boyfriend. I think that anybody else I had dated before was about 2 weeks to I think a month. That was it.
Wow. So in hindsight, do you think you're ready for it?
No. But I don't think anyone's ever ready for it.
I don't think it is.
You know what I mean? But keep in mind also, like, I have a no bullshit policy when it comes to dating. Like, if you're weird, if you're being shady, if you're not a gentleman, I'm like, peace. There's another fish in the sea. That's why I cannot stand when girls put up with things that they don't need to. Because there's so many dudes out there. Don't do that to yourself.
My mom made a list of some questions for you.
I love your mom. I love your mom.
One of them is, when you get all dolled up, is it more for you or for him, your husband?
Oh, it's 1,000% for myself.
Okay.
But that being said, when I'm at my best, everybody else in my house is at their best also, because that whole expression, like happy wife, happy life, everybody has a better day when they're feeling cute. Everybody has a better day when they feel like, if you wake up and you get out of bed late and you're like, oh, whatever, you're not going to have as good of a day. But if you get up and the first thing you do is you make your bed and you start it out good and like, you curl your eyelashes and you put on lotion and all those things that you might not do every single day, you feel better about yourself. So, when you're light, you attract light.
Yeah. And then it makes your husband want to look good for you too.
That's true.
Hopefully. Yeah.
I know he went through a dyeing his hair phase. Is he still in it?
He's still in it, guys. And it's killing me. It's killing me.
Yeah, that's awkward. It's like, you're
lying.
You
know why it's awkward? It's just also because, honestly, like, I like him better. When I first met my husband, he had salt and pepper hair. Mm-hmm. And now he's like full on salt. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I thought it was hot when I first met him because it was like something sexy about him. But anybody married to me, for that long, obviously, he's lucky he has hair still now. But
he does have a lot of hair.
He has a lot of hair, but so does his dad. I can't deal with the bald thing. The bald thing freaks me out.
What would you do if he was losing his hair? Because I'm like tempted to start my future husband on, what is it called?
Propecia?
Yeah, Propecia.
I think you should, because I would probably move to North Korea.
See, I would be like, babe, I know this seems a little bit, like a little bit rude, but to be honest, don't you just want me to always be as much attracted to you as I can? And therefore, you're doing this for not just me, but for you, because I'm going to give you as much like sex and love as possible if you are looking like this. versus
Yeah,
Baldy.
I get what you're saying. And I think it's always good to have a open relationship with your husband, but open and honest aren't always the best policy. You know, like there's times I'm sure my husband still had sex with me, but I'm sure he wasn't attracted to me. You know what I mean? Like right after, oh yeah. I mean, like right after I had both my boys, I was like 70 pounds overweight. That's not hot. You know what I mean? But what is hot and what is sexy and what is so awesome is that he never made me feel like that.
That's
just
true.
like, you know, when he's been eating, you know, carbs like a maniac and he goes like on a little binge and he's been gaining weight. Like his thing is he always thinks of like the fattest person he knows. And this person could be like morbidly obese, like somebody you saw on Facebook. I'm going to name a person, let's call him Henry. You know, somebody he sees like from high school, whatever, and Henry is morbidly obese and can't even walk. He'll look at me and be like, I look like Henry, don't I? I'm like, no, you're not like Henry. He's like, and then he'll eat something and he'll be like, I'm totally Henry. I'm going to the store. I'm going to get ice cream. I'm like, okay, love you.
That's so funny. That's why I watch my 600-pound life, because I'm like, well, at least I'm not them. At least I'm not them. I feel a little fat, but I'll never be that.
It's inspiring. It totally is inspiring. Yeah. But, you know, there's times where I do tell a little white lie and I'm like, no, you know, when he's like, do I look pregnant in this? Do I look like I have boobs? It's like, you know, and they might be little tiny boobs, but, you know, they're my little tiny boobs. You know what I mean? Like, and he's going to, like, he is going to be chubby until he decides to do something about it. And then he does. And, you know, he goes back. But I don't ever, maybe it's because I've been married so long or because he's a guy. I'm sure guys think differently. But, you know, whether he is 15 pounds overweight, 20 pounds overweight, or 20 pounds thinner, to me, he's always his adorable self. You know what I mean? He might annoy me and stuff like that, but I never feel like not attracted to him.
This is another mom question, which brings up the point of annoying. What does he do now that annoys you that didn't when you met him?
Oh, probably everything. I'm not even lying. It's horrible.
It's so funny.
You know what it is? When you first meet somebody, and even those first couple of years, you're so like, just, I don't know. I think you're in like that bliss phase of, oh, well, that's just him. That's just him. It's like, no, you know what? Wet towels on the bed is not cute. Don't throw a wet towel on the bed. When my son, who's 10 years old, says, I don't know what's up with dad, man. He just doesn't listen. And I'm like, what are you talking about, buddy? And he's like, you always tell him, don't leave wet towels on the bed. And he does it all the time. You know, those are things that the only thing that has always bothered me about my husband from the day first day I slept over to this morning is that he is so obnoxiously loud in the morning that it is so rude. It's like almost like a Sasquatch came in and jumped. Like he doesn't just sit on the bed. Like after, you know, like you get out of the shower, you're drying yourself off, and you sit down and put on your shoes or whatever. He doesn't sit. He like goes airborne, like 3 feet in the air, and plops himself down. Like it's almost as if, like, I swear, I want to videotape it one day because I think he's doing it like just so I look up and then he like laughs or something.
Yeah, that's
like
definitely it.
But like, no, that's the problem. It's really not it. He's just obnoxious and clueless and very inconsiderate in the morning.
So that's always been annoying. It hasn't just developed.
How do you deal with it? Rude. How do you deal with the annoyances? Do you call them out or do you brush them off?
It depends on my mood. Like sometimes I'm like, for the love of God, and he'll be like, what, babe? Like he doesn't get it. And then other times I'll, like, if I know he's rushing or whatever, I won't say anything because I know that he'll snap back at me. Sometimes it's like a 50-50. Majority of times I just brush it off because one, it's already done. So it's almost like you pick and choose your battles because I know no matter what I say, it's going to happen the next day. So like I can be, you know, just accepting of it, or I can add more fuel to the fire, which now is going to mean that he's going to leave for work in a bad mood, and I'm going to like snap at him or something like that, or he's going to be like, I can't help it, okay? Like just something because he's tired, obviously, also. And then I know that my husband cannot function if we're annoyed at each other. Like he will literally leave work and come back home.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah, that's like our one thing that we do that's super cute is that Like, I know that we're both, it's almost like we can't deal. Like, my husband more so than me, like, because sometimes if I know he's mad at me or something like that, I'm kind of just like, whatever. But if he knows I'm mad at him, like genuinely mad, like he can't function. Like he's actually taken a half day at work and come home before.
That's so cute. That's exactly what I would do.
So Naz has this problem. Random, I know. She's not here to talk about her problem, so I'm going to talk about it for her. But she never drinks enough water. But she just recently discovered Liquid IV, as did Lauren and I. And if you guys saw her Insta story, you saw this really cool product about how she adds to her regular bottled water to add flavor. But more importantly, more than flavor, it hydrates her and us so well. It's very, very cool.
Naz says she doesn't like the taste of water, so this makes her actually want to drink water. So Liquid IV is such a great product because if you're one of those people who knows you should drink more water, but you don't, this allows you to get more out of the water you do drink. One packet in your water provides the same hydration as 2 to 3 bottles of water because it gets into your bloodstream more efficiently than water alone.
No, it's like amazing because, you know, the essence of beauty is water.
Water. Yes, it's beauty.
So drink your Liquid IV, get prettier because you're going to be more hydrated. You can use it after a night on the town when you've had a couple too many to rehydrate, or after a workout, or after a hike or traveling. You know how being in a plane can be totally dehydrating. It's non-GMO, vegan, and all that other good stuff. And for each order that is placed, they donate 1 serving to people in need, which I do love.
I do like that. I love Liquid IV, and I know you will too. Right now, our listeners get 20% off at liquidiv.com when you use our code GETIT at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Go to liquid-iv.com and enter our promo code GETIT, GETIT, to get your savings and start getting better hydration. That's liquid-iv.com, promo code GETIT. Don't wait, get hydrated today. A lot of our listeners want to know if sex is the same or is it still like, you know, good when you're, how many years are you in a marriage?
What is this? 12? 11?
So
11
that makes you how old, just for people's context?
I am 38.
Perfect.
So
how's it?
No, so it's got to be longer than that. I was 22. Yeah, so no, it's 12 years.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, 12, 13.
Okay. Is sex the same after you get married? I think you have more sex right after you get married, and then kids change that. The one good thing about married sex is I think it's funnier because a lot of times, unless you have like a walk-in closet, it has to be like on a time routine because somebody can come in. Mm-hmm. These kids have no respect. I don't know. When I was younger, like you just didn't walk into your mom's bedroom. Like these kids are like, what's mine is yours, and we'll just walk in the room.
What's mine is yours.
So wait, have the kids ever caught you before?
No, but you know what's crazy? I never tell anybody this, but I know my one son heard me one time.
How do you know this?
Because oh God, this is so embarrassing. I feel like I wish I could say, don't tell anyone, but obviously everyone's going to hear this. He said that it sounded like I was almost getting hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I was. So my face must have turned like bright red. And my husband was like, what do you mean? What do you mean like getting hurt? And I go, oh, I remember. He goes, it was like weird moaning sounds and then like almost like you were getting hurt, but like you weren't. That's exactly what he said. So I was like, oh my God. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, I know what happened. I said, Daddy was massaging my shoulders, the one that was hurting me. And he's like, oh.
That is such a good cover up. But when he's older, he'll be very scarred when he realizes what was actually happening.
Totally. His wife one day is going to be like, can I have a massage? He's going to be like, no.
Flashback.
So yeah, you always have to worry about the kids walking in.
Yeah. Or like, you know what it is also is that like, I'm freaking tired at the end of the night. Okay, guys, I'm tired. And my older son, he's 10, but he's just like a night owl. Like he would go to bed late every night if I let him. but I have to wait for him to be asleep, you know? And then I'm like, shit, I don't feel like, I don't want any sexy time. Like, I don't feel sexy right now. This is like flannel PJs type of time. You know what I mean? Like, where I just want to like lay in bed and not talk to anyone. And I have shut off for the day.
How do you gently let him down from that?
Oh, there's no really gently. I'm just like, I'm like, oh, please. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Like
so
that. It's like,
horrible.
God, no, please,
so
God, no.
I'm like, listen,
This is something that I just haven't experienced that, and it's like, so I just don't know when this transition happens to when you're like, so funny. It's like 6 months after. It's like, God, please stop.
It happens gradual, but sometimes I'm like, please. I'm like, oh, please, no, don't get mad at me. I'm like, I promise you tomorrow. I promise. And he'll be like, yeah, promises. I'm like, no, I promise. Like last week he got upset with me because I totally let him down like 3 nights in a row. And then as fate would have it, you know, in the morning I was like, are you mad at me? He's like, I'm not mad. Honestly, I'm getting used to it. So I was like, oh, yeah, totally. No manipulation there. So he's like, I'm getting used to it. I'm like, oh, great.
Do you think that it's appropriate in marriage to masturbate? I think we asked this a couple of weeks ago to our other guest.
Wait, when did we ask that?
I don't remember, our therapist,
okay.
Dr. Now. You think it's okay to masturbate during marriage?
I think it's okay if the day ends in Y. Yeah, I think it's just totally normal.
So was your first real boyfriend, your first boyfriend that lasted longer than a month?
Yeah.
How did you... First off, was he your first time?
No, he wasn't. But like I always say, like I went through like a period of time that I made out with like every boy in the tri-state area. But I didn't sleep with a lot of guys. I was very like, I think because I had such like a big weight loss and was so self-conscious of my body that was something that I was like, I just couldn't like hook up with whoever. You know what I mean? Like I was so like, oh God, I'm going to have to like turn off the lights and, you know, so for your viewers who don't know, obviously, because they wouldn't know me, I had gastric bypass when I was 18 years old. And long story short, which never happens with me, I ended up losing 174 pounds in less than 2 years. And with that comes a lot of excess skin. And it basically, if you've ever seen my 600-pound life, I wasn't 600 pounds, but I was over 300 pounds. And when you see all that excess skin, that's what you have. Now, getting naked in front of anyone is a little nerve-wracking, to say the least. Getting naked when you are 12 years younger than somebody and their ex-wife was a trainer. My husband was before me. My husband's ex-wife was a trainer with like blonde hair, and here he thinks he's like getting lucky with like this girl who's like 12 years younger, and she's probably tight and toned and everything. And obviously that was so not the case for me. So it definitely was a big deal to be intimate with him. I would definitely say that my first sexual experience with my husband was not like this hot experience, but it was something that it's almost like, I feel like sex is way better now because I'm totally comfortable with him. And before I got married to my husband, I hadn't had my surgeries. I had just had my surgeries actually right before we got married. But when I first met him,
your skin surgeries.
Yes. So like my boobs were like, they look like they were like inflated and deflated balloons. I had all this extra skin, and he never, and I love him for this, like never, ever, ever made me feel uncomfortable.
What a cutie.
I know. He was so good.
Outside of sex, how did your weight loss affect your romantic life at that point in your life and when meeting Joe?
Oh my God. I think that there isn't an aspect of my life that my weight loss didn't. That's a whole nother podcast. But I mean, to sum it up, like when you are that heavy, people talk to you slower and actually louder, like as if that you are like like you're retarded or something. I know that's not a PC word to use, but almost like as if you don't speak the same language. They look at you funny when you're eating. You constantly feel like you are being judged silently, like all the time. So I would feel like, and even once you lose all that weight, you physically might not look like the fat girl, but in your mind, you will always be the fat girl. So you question and doubt, like, is this guy dating me because he thinks it's funny and like he wants to win a bet? Like, God, I think back to how sick that sounds when I say it out loud.
So sad.
Because I don't look now. Well, I mean, now, like as an adult, I don't look like an ugly fat girl. But like, I remember feeling that way and feeling so insecure and having. I think one of the reasons, aside from the fact that my husband's just not a dick, one of the reasons that me and him have a good relationship and he's always treated me with respect is because I was so insecure that I was going to be disrespected or thought down upon, that I always made it seem like I was used to being treated in a like princess fashion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if he took me to a nice restaurant, like I pretended like I didn't act like bitchy or anything, but I just was like, thank you. I didn't act like I was totally impressed. Like this was supposed to be what it was supposed to be like, even though in my head I'm like, oh my God, this is so sweet and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you're like, I've been here before. Guys have done
like
this
a little
before.
defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like I wasn't like in a bitchy way. It was almost like, what might have looked like bitchiness was like blazing insecurity. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. Hey guys, we need to take a minute to talk about one of our favorite new things. If you listened previously to the show, you heard us talk about FrameBridge. They make it super easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, from art prints to posters to photos on your phone.
It's super easy on their site. Here's how it works. Just go to framebridge.com, upload your photo from your computer or directly from your Instagram feed for them to print. Or if you have a physical item, ticket stubs, art prints, posters, you name it, you can send it to them for free and they'll frame it. Preview your item in any frame, choose your favorite, and get a free recommendation. They'll frame it super fast. It only takes a couple of days, and it's super affordable. Their prices start at $39, and all shipping is free.
Lauren knows that I've personalized every single apartment, every room I've ever had. So I love to blow up things poster size or, a big frame, like a statement thing so that everybody walks into the apartment and sees it. We just did an adorable pic of you, me, Jade, and baby Emmy in St. Lucia because one, it reminds us of like the first time we got to hang out with Emmy for real. And then it reminds us of St. Lucia, which is our favorite vacation spot in the entire world. All these pics that are just sitting on your phone can finally get framed and displayed like ours. You guys just have to try this service. Plus, our listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use our code GETIT, GETIT.
Get started framing your photos or art today. Go to framebridge.com and use the promo code GETIT, and you'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo GETIT.
With him being your first real boyfriend, I think a lot of our listeners have like little relationship experience. Some have none. Of course, some have a lot. But, Naz and I being, me just experiencing real relationships at this very old age of 29 and 30. And then Naz having never had like a serious committed guy to call a boyfriend. Is it different marrying your first boyfriend? And do people say things like you should get more experience? And then do you have your own self-doubts about like maybe you having not gotten out there enough and maybe you're just settling or like you don't even know what's saying. Good?
Like,
yeah.
You know what? Like, I can tell you from my... Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. I can tell you... I'm like, was it something I said? I can tell you from my experience that I always felt like... I always doubted myself. Always. I do it every day to this day. I might not let people know that, but I always doubt myself. I remember being engaged and then getting closer to the wedding and thinking like, wait a minute, like, is this my soulmate? Is this like, he does things that like we're very different, and that, wait, but some people say opposites attract. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's not. I don't think you're ever really sure until you're sure. You know what I mean? And like, what does that mean anyway? You know, I know one thing. I know that no man has ever shown me unconditional love or given me that or made me feel like I wasn't a freak or made me feel more understood than my husband has. Ever. I know that before I met my husband, I did think every guy was a scumbag. And he's definitely made me think differently. I think that every dog has its day, and people come in your life either for a reason or a season. And whether I thought at times early on in my relationship or even right before I got married or even after I was married, you know, is this guy a season? I realized he was more of a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that's only because we have gone, you know, we've gone through a lot together. You know what I mean? When we both don't drink, so we both have that in common. That was like a strong bond that we had together that not a lot of people have that, you know? When I met him, I was at a really dark place in my life. And to think that something or someone feeling so lost and, you know, in such a need for somebody to just grab my hand and tell me it was going to be okay. I never thought that that was going to happen, but it did. I never, you know, I always wanted to have kids one day, but I never thought I would find anybody cool enough to breed with because I didn't like guys. Like I didn't really respect guys. I thought guys were just stupid. Like, you know, you can get any guy to buy you a drink. Like, you know, I love old cars. My favorite movie's Goodfellas. You could say whatever the hell you want just to get them to listen. You know what I mean? Because they're stupid and they'll go along with whatever. I didn't respect men as men. You know what I mean?
Did they actually like date you as like bets and stuff, or that's something you made up in your head?
I know that there were like boys that would try to make out with me for the night. It's a thing, actually. They call it hogging. I didn't even know about this. Yeah, I found this out later. It was fun.
Wow, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I didn't realize it. Like, look, you know, you attract who you are at the time. And if you're in a dark space, those people around you most likely are too. And then, you know, you're not going to get the best company. But when you hang around someone who is not a piece of shit and you're not viewing yourself as a piece of shit, you have all these good people around you suddenly. You know, it always comes down to where you are in your life.
So do you think that you were coming out of that dark stage when Joe came into your life?
I think that when I met Joe, I was in the darkest place possible. And I just happened to meet somebody and start having a conversation with him. And it was almost as if, like, as cheesy as this might sound, like God was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw you a bone. And, you know, as much as I can say, oh, you know, there were times where I was like, oh, was I ready for this and everything like that? I know a good thing comes around, like, you know, once, maybe twice in a lifetime. And I was not about it to let it go for the sake of like, oh, I've never been gangbanged by a sorority. You know what I mean? Like, really, like.
That's like such a good lesson for guys here, I think, because they're like, you never know when a Victoria's Secret model is gonna, you know, want to fuck you. It's like, well, this great, amazing, smart girl wants you. You should probably take her up on it.
Totally. You know what? And if things aren't going to work out, they're not going to work out. But like, chances of that Victoria's Secret model happening are slim to none, pal. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's you know, like, just live in the moment. And all these things are easy. You know, hindsight's 2020. You don't feel that way when you're going through it. It's not until you get to a different place where you're like, man, I'm so glad that I stayed on this path. You know what I mean? I'm so glad I gave this a chance.
One of my last questions, and also a question that Mom came up with, was, I already know the answer after listening to you for 30 minutes, was, if you could marry him again, would you?
Yeah, I would. I definitely would. You know, and it's funny, if there's been times in my life that if you would have asked me that, oh, here he comes barging in the room.
Make an appearance. Come say hi.
Room. my husband always laughs whenever, like, I'll say, like, oh, here you go, bringing this in or doing this. He just says, it's my room. Meanwhile, he tells everybody, he goes, I get 2 rooms in this. I get the basement and I get the garage in the house.
So apparently it's 3 rooms.
And he's allowed to sleep in the bed. The girls ask me what you do that drives me crazy. And I said, wet towels and throwing yourself on the bed in the morning. Because you're athletic, he says.
I guess I just want to know about, I guess always a worry is when you have a relationship and when that spark, I don't want to say the spark dies. I think like when you get past a certain point and you're more like companions than you are necessarily boyfriend and girlfriend, you know what I mean? How do you keep it alive? How do you go through that transition that I feel like can be such an awkward transition? Because you're like, oh, do we not like each other anymore? Or are we just entering that next phase?
You know what? I'm so glad that you asked that because that's not always often talked about. And as soon as my husband leaves the room, I will actually address that.
Of course. Take your time.
Thank you. Are there gummies in that one? Oh, there's like Easter candy all around my house.
So
like, what do you got in that box? All right, he's exiting the room. He's walking out of the room.
He's coughing out of the room.
Love you. Okay, so, you said like if that spark leaves. I could tell you firsthand, it definitely did leave. I think I said this in your podcast, or podcast, as my husband calls it, that, I know for myself, it wasn't just a matter of letting myself go. Because like we said, when we get dressed up, it's usually for ourselves. And when you're not feeling good about yourself, you just sometimes don't even have like the will to try, or you're too tired or whatever it is. There was a time, and I don't know when it happened. I do personally think it's after we had kids, where I stopped doing little stupid things like, getting him a scratch off lottery ticket on the way home, or, getting his favorite ice cream when I stopped at the convenience store, just because I was like, oh, I'm going to save money this week, or, whatever, he's fine. He says he doesn't want to eat that. But like those little things that I stopped doing or that he stopped doing all, start to snowball. And it's very easy to lose that spark. And that's when, when a majority of people do give up their marriage. Marriage is work, just like your career, no matter how much you love it, it's a lot of work. It took you guys how long to set up these phones and everything like that? Like, if you just quit on it, there would be no podcast. I have to, and I'm only saying this because there have been stale points in my marriage that I stopped trying and I took for granted. And my attitude was not the best. But if I stop, taking care of my kids, they're going to be neglected and, they get taken away by the state. Same thing kind of happens with your marriage. And, being with somebody for the rest of your life, there's something beautiful and comforting, but also fucking boring. Okay. Like, let's be honest. I'm going to be real. All right. I'm not a fun person all the time. You know what I mean? I swear I bore the hell out of my husband. Sometimes I come home and he's like, hey, so what's up? And I'm like, I have nothing really good to say. Like, or I just want to shut off and like my time has expired and I don't want to talk to anyone anymore after like 8:30. That's not a fun thing to come home to. That's not a fun thing, but I totally just had an ADD moment, guys. I was on a roll.
No. I was going to actually interrupt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say it's way easier and I think more fun for anyone to have that person who's even boring waiting for you at home rather than having to have that uncomfortable go out to a bar, try and find someone, have new conversations to see if you like the person. Like, I'd rather have the comfortability of like, I want to shut the fuck up right now and you're going to understand that, rather than like, yeah, so I like amusement parks and
yeah. But I'm wondering if she's saying that you come home and if you're cranky do you power through it and you're nice and you have a good conversation and then you feel better? Or do you just say, hey, I don't feel good? But then what if you get into that pattern of being like, hey, I just want to shut up. Hey, I don't want to talk to you.
That's exactly it. I did personally get into a pattern where I was like, I don't feel like talking. And it wasn't against him. It was just against the world. And it was like, I just wanted to shut down because, it's hard being a woman. There's a lot expected out of you. You're supposed to look nice. You're supposed to, portray a certain thing, be involved with your kids and their schools and all these things like that. And what's very easy is to not put an effort into the things that are always there. Like my dog. I might not walk my dog every day, but I'm going to let them out every day. And I know that when I don't put energy into my marriage and push through those times where I am tired and I don't feel like talking and make him feel like a priority, that's not good because I didn't do the best I could. I can say, oh, I'm going to put all my energy into my kids, but like, that's not being the best mom I can, because being the best mom I can is also being the best wife I can and showing them an example of that. Like I look at like how your parents are to this day. And I aspire to be like that because your parents don't have their little girls. You guys are grown up now, but like they don't have their little girls in the house anymore. Where like, your mom was taking care of you guys and she waited for your dad to come home. Now it's just about their life. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't make that a priority, you're doomed, because one day my kids are going to leave here and it's just going to be us again,
And it's just like the little things like getting that carton of ice cream. That's like enough.
Totally. And that's exactly it. Like if I know my husband's not eating carbs that day, I'll make sure that, if I'm at the convenience store, I'm going to pick up a scratch off. He just walked back in. He goes, the day that my kids leave, he goes, once our kids leave the house, he goes, when that happens, we're going to walk around in karate uniforms all day. And that's, that's another thing. Like my husband says like the craziest things out of nowhere. Like he has a horrible, but it's really funny habit of talking to me, not on the commercials, but only when the show that I want to watch comes on. And he'll have to make fun of the show the whole time while I'm trying to listen to it. So now this is me. I have the closed captions on. I'm trying to read it and listen at the same time because he's talking over and trying to make jokes that are funny, but I don't want to laugh at because I just want to listen to the show.
What show is this? Tell me the show so I can imagine.
Oh, it's Dr. Phil.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Vanderpump Rules, who he calls. What do you call him? Vandersloot? Vanderslugen. He loves that old guy. He always says that he looks like the Gordon's fisherman.
I've never seen Vanderpump Rules.
Are you serious?
I know. It's so up our alley. I know.
It really is. Oh, my God. You would like it because, come on, honey, please, you have to go downstairs. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. I'm telling them deep, private, personal stuff. My husband has a look of panic and confusion right now on his face. They know your social security number and everything. He likes to take it up the butt, ladies.
That's some great information.
Okay. We're getting a little off track, and I have a couple more deep questions left. I need to know, we have this fantasy of marriage when we're little. We just want to get married, which is so funny because then you talk about it being work and it being so much about compromise and like pushing yourself to do things that you don't feel like doing. What are the perks and why is it better than you think it is to just be single your whole life?
If I had to pick perks on the other life, because the grass is always greener, I would definitely say not having to answer to anyone or worry about anybody. Like there are so many times where I'll get off of work or I'll get out like an hour early and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to go to Home Goods or like Sephora or whatever. Or like, I just want to go to a movie by myself and not have to wonder like if we're going to get a babysitter, if I'm going to, our schedules are going to, work out where I can see it this week. And, did he eat? Oh, wait, I should go home because I want to make sure that they ate and everything like that. Like just being able to be selfish and worry about yourself has got to be awesome.
Is it awesome?
Why is it better? Why do you think marriage is better?
I mean,
not to like be a total proponent for it, but it's just like in this generation, I feel like so many guys are like, oh, that's something, I don't even know if that's something I want to do, or at least not something I want to do until I'm 40. We've had guy friends on here who have claimed that they want to put that off for as long as possible. But to me, that's sad. And I think to a lot of our listeners, that's sad. So why do you think that it's something that enhances your life?
Just freedom.
Being married?
Yeah.
I would say marriage enhances my life because I know that, like, I have a partner in crime. You know what I mean? Like, we always say, like, it's me and him against the world. And, like, we don't walk around like, oh, the whole world hates us. But it's like, I know that no matter where I'm living, no matter what happens, as long as we're together, it's all going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I might not have all the money in the world. I might not have the end result of the final house that I want, that we're working towards, or whatever our goal for that year might be, is as long as I have him by my side, it's going to be okay. I truly believe that. Like, I don't doubt him at all. Like, I don't, like, a lot of girls, like, they look through, like, their husband's phones and stuff like that. Like, I've looked through my husband's phone, I think 3 times in the, 15 years we've been together or something. And only because, like, I felt like there was something wrong with me for not looking. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, should I be looking? Like, am I stupid for not looking? You know, but, like, there's just, you know, like, he doesn't go out with his friends. Like, I'm his best friend. Like, you know, if you ask my husband what his hobbies were, he'd be like, oh, I don't know. But, like, honestly, as cheesy as it might sound, like, we are each other's hobbies. You know what I mean? Like,
if you feel like there's a reason to look through his phone, then there's a problem.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I went through his phone strictly because I felt like, wait, am I missing something? Like, because I'm the only person I knew who didn't do it. You know, like, I don't have a reason. Like, he doesn't play games. There's not a reason to not trust him. You know what I mean? Like, he kept, like, it's just normal and it fits. And you know what? Sometimes it's not always the most exciting thing. But to me, like, there is something to be said about comfort in the fact of, like, I know that I'm going to grow old with him, and that, you know what? He's still going to make those cheesy jokes, you know, when I get older, and I'm not going to be able to hear the TV as it is. You know what I mean? Like, and he's going to be doing those things, and I'm going to tell, like, my grandkids, like, he's been doing this forever, you know, like, and I know that we'll always have little stupid things that we say, and that, you know, that there's sometimes a word or something that somebody will say that me and him will just look at each other and kind of, like, laugh, or like those inside jokes, you know, hearing, like, a young couple or somebody ask about relationship advice, and, like, us giving them advice, and then on the way home, you know, in the car, having the recap, laughing, like, to ourselves, like, do you remember when that was us? Like, how dumb and young we were? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, like, when I first met my husband, I was 21, you know. I can honestly say he's going to be 50 next year. Like, we've grown up together, you know, and at different times. You know, there's times where I felt like he was more advanced than me. There's times where I felt like he was not moving and he was not growing, and, like, he should probably meditate and become vegan or something different because I was on a new kick. But, like, that's where I was at, and he let me be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, being married has taught me so much about other people, and about compromise, and about myself, and about what unconditional love is. And if that's one thing I can say, is the best thing about a marriage to me is that I know that I truly know nobody in my life will ever love me as much as he does. And that's awesome.
So cute. Can we end on a really uplifting, funny note?
Sure.
I think you and I, and Lauren especially, are people that need their alone time.
Totally.
How do you respectfully get your alone time when you're living with somebody?
I go for a ride.
You go for a ride in the car?
Oh my God, guys, that's what, like, honestly, I'm the reason, like, global warming is going to happen sooner. I burn gas all the time. Like, I have to go for a ride. My mother even says it. She's like, oh, her time is expiring. She has to leave.
That's
I've been
amazing.
Like that since I was a little girl. I like going in the car and listening to music that has curse words in it that I can't listen to with the kids in the car, and have my windows, you know, rolled up and my music blasting. And that is my time. And it might just be driving around for like 2 miles. That might be it. But I need that. Okay. That's how I regroup.
Do you say, like, you're going out to get something, or you don't even need to say that?
Oh, no, I need to say everything because everybody has to know everything about my life in this house.
Okay.
And then I'll have my husband try to be nice and be like, do you want me to go to the store for you? And it's like, listen, unless it's 40 below, no, I don't want you to go to the store for me. I want to go to the store. The worst part is when they want to go with you.
Oh, I
Hey, Mom,
know.
can we go with you? I'm like, no, you cannot.
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So you do. You're just like, oh, no, I would like to go alone.
No, I have to be like, no, I'm getting tampons. I'm going to get like a vaginal suppository, please. I need to go get it myself. Like, leave me alone. Like, because everybody needs that, you know?
Yep. And they need it too, I think.
I don't think they need it as much as we do.
Yeah, I don't think that they need it as much.
Not
as
as much,
either.
but they gotta understand. Just like, let me go get my yeast infection medication.
Totally.
Yeah, but
totally.
look, you're having to come up with an excuse.
Because you know what? Also, if my husband was to say to me, "Hey, I just need 20 minutes away from your fucking face," I'd be a little insulted.
Yeah, that's true. Like with Jack, he'll be like, "We spent 4 nights in a row together. It's okay if we take a break." I'm like, "It is okay. Do you need a break?" And then I worry. So
Yeah.
You know.
No, totally. And it's not even a personal thing. It's just about needing space. I do that with my kids. I do that with my husband. I do that with work. I just sometimes, that's why I run to the bathroom half the time. I don't pee that much during the day. I just need a minute. I just need a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you fart in front of each other?
That was my next question because
Oh my God. You know what's so funny? This past year, I swear, we both fart during our sleep. And, you know, like we've heard each other or whatever. Like every now and then he'll be like, I'll say something. I'm like, ew, you totally were farting in your sleep. He's like, really, Miss Trumpets over there?
that's what our dad says about my mom, but she'll never do it
hysterical.
voluntarily.
No, but I also have 2 dogs. So like there have been times where I've done like a fart where it's been a silent but deadly fart, like the really bad ones that you're like, I don't care if you've seen a placenta come out of my vagina. I don't want you to ever think that I could actually let an odor go from my body that smells like that. So I blame it on my dogs. I have done that before.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, sometimes I'll be snuggling on the couch with a guy, and then like my entire stomach is just, it's blown up like a helium balloon. And I know I have to get it out of there, or I'm going to have to make an excuse to like go to the bathroom or go change my clothes or take a bath or something. And it just would be so much easier, maybe even better for our relationship if I were to just say like, hey, I'm going to put a blanket over me and move to the love seat.
You know what's funny? Here's the whole thing. I personally think it's great if like my sister, my older sister and her husband, like they're the type of people that will literally like sit on each other's heads and fart on each other.
I don't want that. I want it to be a little bit more discreet, but also honest. Like, hey, I have some gas pains.
Yeah, no, see, to me, it's like you're either going to be a bear. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. So, like, you're either going to be like, I have gas pains. If you're going to get up and say that, just go to the bathroom. Just do your thing quietly. Yeah. But if you're going to have gas, fart on their head. I just been married to somebody who gets really grossed out by stuff like that. So, like, I just won't do it just because he will shame me and not laugh as much as I think it would be funny. And he'll leave me feeling gross. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it just depends on the guy, I think.
It does.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
really
Christina,
I think we got lots of wisdom
I'm so
today.
sorry for the person who has to edit this because I know my ADD kicked in big time.
Nope, we're not cutting anything out.
Nope. Well, we'll come to you next time we have an adult question that needs to be answered by an adult that's just 8 years older than me.
That is so crazy.
Is that funny?
I just think it's funny that you guys think I'm an adult. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, our new question for people is at what age did you feel like you were actually an adult? And I guess you still don't.
I think when things like that, like when you have finished paying off your Christmas bill, when your like hot water heater breaks and you're like, oh, this is adult shit. Or like, when you realize like you have to fill out your own paperwork.
Or make your own doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
I feel like I can adult well, like I am currently adulting, but I don't know that I don't know when I'm going to feel like I'm a grown up. Like, hi, I'm Ashley. Like I live on my own and I do what I need. I think it's probably when I stop calling my dad and being like, Dad, how do I do taxes? Dad, how do I open a bank account?
No, but you know what, guys? Never stop doing that. Like, You know what I mean? One, they love that. Two, it's like people need people. You got to ask people for things. Like, I know that I feel like we're all little girls playing in big girls' worlds. Like, I remember even for like my youngest son, I remember dropping him off the first day at pre-K and looking at the other moms and thinking to myself, like, do they know like I'm just like a kid? Meanwhile, like, some of them are younger than me. Some of them are older. Like, we're all like, what is an adult? Like, what? When you stop having fun? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just pay your bills, be mature 80% of the time, have fun. You know what I mean? Just don't be boring. I think people think adults are boring. Like, I'm boring, but not because I'm an adult. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just boring because I'm boring.
Yeah.
I'm just boring.
No, you've proven throughout this podcast that you are the opposite of boring.
Oh, really? Well, maybe that's what makes me an adult, because I think that this is boring. I don't know. Who knows?
But Christina, you're a great talker. I wish I could talk like you. One day in 8 years, maybe you'll have as much wisdom.
Adulting when you can finish sentences properly.
It's true.
Like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Subject, verb, period.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we're gonna sign off with Christina.
Okay, wait. Give yourself a shout out. Christina, not only are you full of wisdom, but you also do amazing eyebrows, and you're located where in New Jersey?
I am located at the Strand Salon in River Edge, New Jersey, and I'm also available at Brows by Christina G. That's Christina with a K on Instagram.
Hell yes.
So if you need your brows done, do you thread or wax?
I'm not into threading, guys. I feel like it's not as accurate. But for some people who cannot get waxed, I tweeze only.
Okay. There's some amazing transformation photos on that Instagram, by the way, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, girls. So if you live in Jersey, check her out at the Strand Salon. We love you, Christina. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, Christina's amazing. She's able to speak about life real and raw, which is what we love. And, talk about things that we're not exactly at the point of, but also in a way that we are able to relate.
Yeah, we're just
like all of you are like, oh, that's entertaining. It's funny. And like one day I hope I'll be like her.
Yeah, I hope we'll all have the same kind of problems, like just two kids and married and all dealing with the normal issues.
Yeah. So rate us, review us,
subscribe.
Keep talking in the I Don't Get It Facebook group. It is so funny and we love it.
Let us know what more episodes you want to hear about and who you want on.
I know that you guys sometimes feel like you're being rude if you're being critical, but if you don't like a podcast topic that we've talked about and like we spent at least an hour of energy on, we really actually appreciate you letting us know.
Yeah, and then we don't have to do another one if you guys not liking it. Or if you just want to hear from the three of us more.
Because we do take time to get effort. We take the time to come up with guests so you guys get a variety each week. But if you're overwhelmingly in support of just the three of us blabbing, that's easy. And if it makes you guys happier, then woohoo.
We shall do.
But also let us know what other experts you'd like on if you want experts.
All right.
Basically, just let us know what you like.
Catch us next week on the I Don't Get It podcast. Bye.
Bye.
I Don't Get It podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.